Reds, we're back. Change of schedule. Big news popping today. Finally, it looks like Newcastle realised they're a football team and not just spectating. Do you know what I mean? But look, I'm with the other three that are usually with us. Marty, Ricky, Ross. Mart, how are you?
I'm good, mate. It's nice to not be hosting tonight. I can just sit there and waffle shit at you for.
Yeah, well, don't get too comfortable, lad.
Yeah, you've done a good job already. You can keep it. No, mate. I'm good. Glad it's Friday.
Good. Ross, how are we, lad?
Yeah, all good, mate. Looking forward to Wembley on Sunday. So going to be making my way there. Can't wait to just be back inside a football stadium, if I'm honest. I think all of us are the same. Like, the summer break is dreadful. So yeah, excited for Sunday.
Yeah, Ricky, are you the same, lad? How are you feeling? No aeroplanes coming through the window?
Yeah, no, Isak ain't making his way over yet, but no, I'm good, man. I can't wait for the season to start now, and it starts on Sunday. People might say it's a glorified friendly, but I take it serious, didn't we? I mean, first you don't want to lose the first game of the season, do you? Regardless of what it is for.
This is it. Look, shout out to everyone in the chat. Everyone's slowly filtering in. It's nearly 20 already. If you haven't already, smash the like and subscribe. We changed the show. The reason being is there's been news with regards to Newcastle finally moving. Snail pace, but they are moving. We're going to do tomorrow around lunchtime, I think, the Community Shield show. But anyway, we'll go into it. So, right, I've just had something wrote down about Newcastle. Fucking lost it as well. I think they've also lost their notes because they are fucking stupid, aren't they? Matt, today we had a bit of news. I'm going to go into the bullshit, as you can see by Ali here, Pletty getting dunked. Obviously, you've been reporting about Mawani going to Newcastle, which was thought about as a load of bollocks. What's your take on that one? Because I thought that would have been a decent enough signing for them. Signings that they should have been looking at 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, just the Colin Mawani one? Yeah, I thought it made sense. I mean, if you look at the three lads that they've got that have come out today, obviously they're all quite similar-ish. I think that, I could see it. I think he's in a bit of a weird place, isn't he, Kolo Muani, at the moment? He obviously done the PSG move. It didn't quite work for him. But then it sounds like he's been linked quite heavily with Juventus. So I thought, I definitely think he's, I think looking at some of the names they're looking at, Nicholas Jackson, obviously we had the Sesko saga over the last week. I think he's not worse than those two, is he? Really? I mean, he looked quite good. I saw him briefly in the it was a Nations League just after the season before the Club World Cup started, and he looks like, again, a bit like Darwin Núñez. You look at him and you go, do you know what? He's got all of the attributes that you'd want from an attacker. He's a big lad. He's fast. He seems to be quite good with the ball at his feet, but obviously he's just it's not quite worked from a Paris Saint-Germain. So there is that risk there. But I mean, I thought it was a link that made sense. Unfortunately, it just came from Tintinhead, didn't it? So, just take it with a pinch of salt. But yeah, it sounds like it's a load of bollocks anyway. So.
Yeah, plenty bollocks doesn't have. Chat some shit, mate. He's probably been telling everyone that he's going to be the number 10 shirts for fucking Newcastle.
Yeah.
He's full of shit. Yeah, then, because I know you've been just catching up on the news. You've been busy, Ross. So, obviously that's come out. Samu from Porto looks like he's the top choice for the big target. It was reported from on screen that they are really interested. He mentioned something about, and I think he was just specifying the top signings, like the one with regards to Isak. There's a small pool of them. He seems to be the top choice. Don't know if you've seen much of him, but he's really caught the eye in Europe, this kid, over the last year. I think he was loaned about a few times. He's about 6'4" as well. They've got to give something exciting to the fans, haven't they? Because let's be honest now, we're on the verge of, they obviously want to, Callum Wilson went. They're on the verge of losing a big hitter for them. Have you seen much of Samu? Because I know there is a bit of excitement with him. I've seen a bit of him. He looks all right.
To be fair, I haven't followed him closely. I know there's been a lot of talk about him over the last couple of seasons. I know he's been linked with a few clubs. I did have a brief look earlier just at some videos of him. He does look like a tricky player. He looks as if he can take on his man, and he's got a few tricks in his bag. Definitely looks like an exciting player. And I don't think Ornstein would have dropped that name either without some information behind the scenes if he wasn't like a top target. Because Ornstein, we know fully well, won't go out there and just drop names for the sake of it, will he? So we just need Newcastle to kind of get their ducks in a row, don't we? You know, us Liverpool fans have been following this striker situation closely for our own reasons. But if they do end up with that Samu, I think Eddie Howe would have a player on his hands. And we know Eddie Howe can get the best out of some players. We've seen it fully well with Isak. How many goals did he score before he came to the Premier League? I think he had 6 in La Liga, was it? Maybe I may be wrong. So if they get someone like Samu who's exciting, can take on his man, seems really energetic, and definitely a player who can get fans off their seats. So if I was a Newcastle fan and looking at that, I'd be excited.
Well, this is it. And, you know, Rick, we've done a few shows. And look, before we go into it, shout out to everyone in the chat. If you've got any questions, get them lashed in and we'll go through them as we can. And there's 42 in the chat now. Smash a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Rick, the one player that they've obviously had kind of stacked in the background is Wisa. Now, I understand it from their point of view. It's not gone through as of yet. They're in a similar position to us, aren't they? We've got Isak. Newcastle want replacements. Brentford are going to let Wisa go, but obviously they want a replacement. Now, I think in the last 24 hours, maybe 48 hours, something's picked up because now it looks like they're moving on him. So Brentford obviously have their player in place. Now, he isn't a bad player for them, and I can understand why they want to. There seems to be a bit of a scattergun approach from Newcastle over it. Do you think something in the background with regards to maybe Liverpool or the likes of Isak and his reps have said, hurry the fuck up?
I think it's a multiple of things. I think Liverpool have told them to get a move on. It's taking too long. I think Isak's staring at a blank wall, wondering what the fuck they're doing. And I think Newcastle now just gone, here's 80 mil, who wants it? Let me know what strikers available, because, mate, they can't organise a piss up in a brewery, that firm. But Wisa looks like it's about to get done, because I'm not even going to butcher the other guy's name in Brentford they're looking for.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, he's going there. Wisa will go there. I think, listen, people keep saying, they need to get 2 in. I think once Wisa's in the door, bid accepted for Isak, it will come out. And then they'll just start doing their big money target. Because, listen, everyone knows they've got money now. Like, everyone knows Isak's leaving. Everyone knows Liverpool buying him. Everyone knows what the price is going to roughly be. So there is no bargaining tool anymore for Newcastle. Everyone knows they've got the dough. So once Wisa's in the door, that's a striker there. Then it'll be Isak coming to Liverpool. Then they'll do what they need to do. Then we can stop interacting with fucking Newcastle fans on social media who seem to think they're still keeping Isak and playing everyone up front with him. But we'll see. I expect it over the next couple of days to ramp up. I know they're playing 2 games. They've got one tonight, one tomorrow. We've got a game Sunday, so potentially early next week you might hear some noise. Yeah,
mate. It's been a lot of back and forth with these fucking Geordies. I feel like Alexander Isak's on a fucking series of I'm a celebrity. I'm Alexander Isak. Get me fucking out of here. You know, everyone's piping up on it, Matt. But you know what? I'm just going to bring it up, Matt, because I'm sure it could be interesting for some people. We spoke about it briefly, you know, off this, you know, privately, and we've talked about PR. When Liverpool, pardon me, when Liverpool let Trent go, they announced the bad news first. Frimpong then comes as the good news. Now we've spoken briefly that I know people keep saying about both signings, and I know Ethan's saying it here. I think they want their 2 strikers before they sell Isak. And they could, Matt. But on the PR situation, Newcastle have got to gain as much momentum with the fans as they possibly can. I personally think it's going to be Wisa first, Isak news, and then potentially Samu from Porto. Because the good news overshadows the bad news, doesn't it? Do you think if they announce the 2 strikers and then the hammer blows to them, the Isak news comes out, I think that's worse for them. What do you think?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like the old analogy, isn't it? When you deliver bad news, it's the shit sandwich analogy, isn't it? So you go good news, then you put the bad news, then you finish with good news. You know, if they, even though it feels inevitable that Isak's going to go, if you announce your 2 signings and then you finish the window announcing that your best players leaving the football club, you know, like you said, the PR, the optics of it, the emotions of it don't feel good. So, I've said, I think I think I don't think they'll wait for the striker to be officially announced, done. I think once they move into a position where they've probably got personal terms agreed with the number one striker target, they're close to an agreement. I think they'll release the shackles on doing the Isak deal. I don't think you'll have to wait, for the striker to be announced. So, yeah, I think they do have to be pretty careful with it because it's still not going to go down well. Whether Newcastle fans think that they've come to terms with it or not. I mean, we saw it with the Trent stuff. We knew he was going probably, since February, March. And then when you still see them in the Real Madrid shirt, it sucked. And then Liverpool obviously played the PR brilliantly by, releasing the Frimpong news. So I do think it will go. Yeah, I would tend to agree. Vissa, I think you'll then see an agreement in the media for their striker. Isak will go, and then that will then be pretty quickly announced for Newcastle.
I could just see a bit of news now on my Apple Watch. Fabrizio Romano said, understand Jackson and Nkunku are not in the Chelsea squad today. The moves look likely that something is closer than people are expecting. So that says a lot, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like ends here in the chat saying, I think they sell where they get the Isak replacement. But Ross, do you know on this scenario, as Danielle said here, it's the scenario where Newcastle keep Isak. Isak, I keep saying fucking Isak. Isak until after the Liverpool game week 2. Do you think this is the case, Ross, or do you think it's just about them getting the ducks in order? And do you know with regards to for the last 2 weeks, it's like these have been chasing the big hitters. They're not going to get the big hitters, Ross, are they?
No. So just touching on your original point about, or Danielle's point about, do we think Newcastle keep Isak until after the LFC game? I don't think that's at the forefront of their thinking. Obviously, they'll want to get a replacement in straight away, but there's definitely a thought to it, isn't there? Could you imagine that Isak is sold and then game week 2, he's lining up in a different shirt? It wouldn't go down well at all, would it? So, yeah, there is an element of that. Just touching on your second point, it's difficult for Newcastle. They're in a really kind of odd place. They've just come off the back of the most probably successful season they've had in a while. They've qualified for the Champions League, and they've just won a trophy for the first time in 70 years. So realistically speaking, a Newcastle fan coming into this window should have a lot of excitement, being able to kind of push on and use the finances, the PSRs behind them. From what we hear, they should be able to push on. Obviously, this transfer window hasn't happened like that for them. Let's be honest, it's been absolutely dreadful. So when it comes to the likes of Sesko, Ekitike, and the other big names they're mentioning, when you're rivaling teams that are fighting for titles, obviously Man United, they finished 15th, but Man United are Man United. They're always going to have that pull. It's just who they are. But when you're coming up against the likes of Chelsea when they went for Delap, Chelsea are always going to win that. When you're coming up against Liverpool for Ekitike, Liverpool are always going to win that. And that's just the situation Newcastle are in. They're in this journey. They're similar to where we were a few years back before. Well, I say a few years. Obviously, it's been many years when Klopp first came in. We wasn't buying superstars, was we? Mane, for example.
You got to climb the ladder, Ross.
Exactly. So I don't know if it was kind of stretching going for these targets. If there was no competition, then absolutely you can get them. But when you're coming up against the big boys, it's very difficult for them.
Yeah, I think this is part of the problem. Ethan's saying here, it sounds like Jackson isn't top of the list. The thing is, though, do you know what, Ethan? They've got to fucking start stacking a couple of deals out. I've been watching Newcastle and I feel like they've just gone 1 for 1. That's never going to work. To say, same in any sales industry, Martin, we've had this chat many times, especially. Yeah. It's a numbers game. You've got to have a few things bubbling. Otherwise, you're fucking stuck. And this is why I think that, it's dragged on. Do you know what, with regards to Newcastle's approach, Rick, why do you think it's gone so wrong? I know they haven't had a sporting director since about May, but this has been in the long run for a long time. Do you know what I mean? Paul Mitchell left. From the Saudis' point of view, I think they've really harmed their relationship with the fans, I think.
Yeah, I think the Saudis fucked up by getting rid of Amanda, Stabley, and the other geezer. They're the two that really kept it between the fans to the Saudis.
It was like a middle ground with them, wasn't it?
They were the ones that promised stuff before they got outed. Like obviously Isak new deal, they promised him that. And they probably know more about football than the Saudis do. Who has seen who actually owns Newcastle? No one's actually seen who they are. They're just like a group.
Great people. I know the Reuben brothers are one of them, but there's a few of them.
So there's no one direct person who's the football man behind it, because they've got rid of them too. And also, it don't help you've got no sporting director. It don't help that you've got no transfer committee. It don't help that there's actually no one in the recruitment team by the look of it, bar a few scats. Eddie Howe's nephew, I believe it is, that's supposed to be doing it with him. It's all good and well Eddie Howe selling the project for Newcastle going forward to these players. But you're telling me Eddie Howe knows how to structure a transfer deal? No.
It's Al Rummy. He's the one that's handling things for Piff, isn't
he? He's not paid to fix up a transfer fee, including add-ons, payments, stuff like this. That's not his job. He don't get paid to do that. So him sitting there looking across the table at someone trying to do that ain't going to work. And maybe they did go too big. Maybe because they thought they got Champions League football and they've got the richest owners in the world, that they could potentially go big in players. But they're not bigger than Sunderland. So fucking, I don't know. And then I'm seeing these Newcastle fans on Twitter blaming PSR. If PSR weren't a thing, that Newcastle would rule football. Okay. And if Newcastle shouldn't be losing out to teams like Man United for players. We're in the Champions League. But you're Newcastle United. They're going back. I'm seeing people go back to the early 90s, mid 90s, or whatever you want to call it. Alan Shearer rejecting Man United for Newcastle. It's not the 90s no more, boys. Man United. Listen, Liverpool the biggest club in England, but Man United ain't far off it. Like, I know we talk about trophies and stuff. Man United is still Man United. The name still means something in football. Whether they're a shit show behind the scenes and what stuff like that, Man United will beat most teams in world football to a signing. I know people say they overpay, but they will beat most teams. I put us up against Man United and beating Man United for a signing at the minute, but these other teams will not beat United for a signing. Not a chance.
Yeah.
Can I just add something about what Ricky said about it's not the 90s anymore? And we spoke about the setup of Newcastle and how Eddie Howe is making decisions and his nephew, whoever it is. If you have a look at the elite clubs in Europe, they have that sporting director who are leading all of those decision makings, pushing those transfers. Football has evolved these days, and I think we've maybe mentioned it before, Ben, about the official role Arne Slot has. He's not a manager, is he? He's a head coach now. So I just wanted to touch on Ricky's point about it being the 90s. Football has evolved on from that now. You don't really have a manager making those power decisions.
No, they've got people in these roles, do you know what I mean, that help out and contribute to things. I think it started going a bit wrong at Liverpool when Jurgen Klopp had too much say. We've had many chats in this. Some people want to talk about it, some people don't. If people want to talk about it with regards to doing a show on when Klopp took more power on, we can do something along the lines of that. But I definitely think a manager's a manager, and sporting director's a totally different job. Just because you're a manager doesn't mean you can start buying players. And I think I do feel sorry for Eddie Howe, Matt. I do feel slightly sorry for him, because I think, do you know what, as much as we're bantering and I'll probably be fucking tweeting, fuck off you, do you know what I mean, when Isak comes through the door. But at the end of the day, deep down, look, they're a good club. They're a cracking fan base. They really are. And I can understand why the Saudis bought Newcastle, Matt, because if you get them going, mate, they'll be a force. They would be. But I think the Saudis, for instance, with regards to what's going on with City, it's dented their confidence of throwing big money through the doors. Let's be honest. If all goes to plan and they start pumping money in the next 10 years, they probably are the dominant force, like City are, because they've got double the amount of money, triple the amount of money that they've got. You know what I mean? They are the richest club in the world. But you made the comment before, Matt, it's like having rich parents. Doesn't mean you get access to the money, does it? Do you know what I mean? You mentioned something along them lines. So they're very limited, and they are restricted of what they can do. Why though, Matt, have they left it so long to get someone in the doors for them? Because let's be honest, with regards to Isak and Liverpool, I think this has been a year in the works, this. And I can see why he's fucking kicked off. And I said to you, Mark, privately before, it's a good job they got Champions League, because if they were fucking holding him to ransom without Champions League now, the fella would be on the fucking verge of driving his fucking car through the fucking training ground, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Is it? Yeah, the PSR stuff. It's like trying to get a mortgage on your parents.
Yeah.
On your parents' wages. It just Pip's money doesn't mean anything for Newcastle. They've got a process they're going to have to go through to open up the the PSR channels, and ironically, selling Isak for a large amount of money would help drastically with that. I think it doesn't sound disrespectful, because they are a great club, great city, great people. I work with people from Newcastle, top people. A couple of internet helmets wouldn't change my mind on that, but I think this is it. I think the Saudi money has skewed somewhat what they are and what they do have capabilities to do, and what their reputation is going to do, because they're not a powerhouse in Europe yet.
Nowhere near it, Mark, by the way.
No, and I mean they go into. I know we sit there scratching our heads going, he's chosen Man United, their project shit. But, if you're a Slovenian kid, you're going to have way more chance of knowing who Manchester United are than knowing who Newcastle are. And that's just football. We get it with Real Madrid. It pisses us off. But, they pinch our players. They pinch our targets. There is a food chain in the football world, whether you like it or not. And I think Newcastle, unfortunately, have tried to dine at the top table when they're just not quite there yet. The names that they're being linked with. I mean, I saw a couple of their fans earlier, and again, I say a couple minority, but that weird rumor got out about PSG and Isak, and someone was saying a swap deal with Barcola. This is where they think they're at, and they're not. No, and they're just not. And I think that's the issue. And I think the reality of the situation is set in. Like I said, Eddie Howe, the team have been away on, in Singapore on. Pre-season duty. They've been away from it. They've just been hearing it over the phone. I think the Saudis and PEF probably thought, Isak will kick up a stink and then you'll get on with it. I think the reality is set in, and now they're scrambling. I know there was that talk about Ekatike. The player didn't want to go to Newcastle. Again, it was the one person that said he did was Plettergold, which, again, you might as well go and ask a random bloke on the street for reliability on that. So. Yeah, and it's, they were happy to kind of laugh and put it through the media that they wanted both Ekatike and Isak. So, they could have shot themselves in the foot there. I just think they're trying to act bigger than their reputation's at the moment. And that's, again, not to diminish them, because they're a great club. But they're talking about trying to challenge the elite of the elite at the moment. And they don't have they can't do it. PSR are not going to let them do that. Like you said, if they'd come in probably 20 years ago, 15 years ago, like say City's first, City got taken over. The first thing they did was drop 100 million quid on a bid for Kaká. You can't do that now. And I think that's kind of like how they have to just wake up and realize that there is a process, and they will get there because they got the dough to do it, but it's not right now.
Do you know what, mate? Just touching up on what you've just said there before I go through something with Ross, they should have been targeting the best staff for within the club. Over the next couple of years, instead of targeting the best players. Ross, do you know when you compare it to how we were over the years? Say when Klopp came in, we started getting our shit into gear, didn't we? Staff were coming in, you had all the data people. You could see Liverpool slowly building up. And there's something that we'll all admit, and I'm sure, 68 people watching the show, if you could smash it like and subscribe as well, that would be great. And I'm sure there's something that everyone can agree on. We always used to say, why aren't Liverpool at the top table? And the reason probably was, Ross, is sometimes you're just not ready. Do you know what I mean? We know the size of our club, but fundamentally within the club, whether it be for the wages or whether it be for how good we're doing on the pitch, you've got to be careful, and you can't be looking stupid. And what Marty's just said there, Ross, they've tried to sprint before they can walk. Do you know what I mean? They've not been there that long, the Saudis. But it doesn't matter how much money you've got, really. There's massive limitations now in the Premier League. It's not like Saudi where they just go and fucking do whatever they want. You can't do that in England now because there's too much scope on these teams. But the fact they've tried it for about 8 or 9 players this year, you would have thought they would have stopped after about 2 or 3. Because I get it early on in the winter. You don't carry it on when there's only a month left. I think it's 3 weeks on Monday for the window. And let's be honest, Rick, I've done a little bit of deep diving into it when, obviously the Isak stuff, blah, 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 which we'll touch on in a minute. But I looked into them more, and they were promised training grounds, stadiums, this year was going to be the big summer for them. They're currently sat on Alanga and Ramsdale as a fucking loaned goalkeeper. That's not good enough, is it?
Hickson Gillette, isn't it? I know they're not the same bracket of funds. We were promised new stadium, new training ground, big name signings. Months later, we were on the verge of going out of business. So I'm not saying they're the same level of people. They're obviously not. The Saudis have got fucking dough coming out their arse, mate. But it's the same promises. And like you said, they're sat with Alanga, losing their best player, scrambling around for a number 9 that's willing to come to them. And we're at the 8th of August. So it's a complete shit show there. The fans don't want to hear it. But yeah, if they don't get their house in order very, very quickly, that Champions League dream goes for the next couple of years. Because Chelsea, listen, we all laugh at Chelsea and how much money they spend, how many players they've got. They got enough players in that squad to get it right. The top 4 looks like it's going to be fairly settled in our City, Arsenal, and Chelsea.
Doesn't it?
And 5th's not guaranteed to get Champions League this season, like last season. It's not. It depends what us big boys do in Europe, and who else performs in Europe. And I don't even think Newcastle have got the 5th best squad. If you look at it, they've got one of the best midfields in the league.
Midfield's excellent, yeah.
Isak leaves, their attacking is not that great. Depending who they bring in as a number 9. Gordon's good. Elanga's okay-ish. Murphy's all right. Harvey Barnes is hit and miss. The defence is fucking abysmal. The goalkeeper situation, no one knows what it's going to be like. Me personally, I think Spurs have got a better squad than them. Again, Spurs could finish 5th. That puts Newcastle 6th. Who knows what Villa's going to do this season with no Champions League to concentrate on. They'll just play. And as much as we slag Man United off, on paper that attack does look good. There's no. Cunha's Premier League proven. And Mbeumo scored lots of goals last season for Brentford. No one knows what Tesco is going to be like up front. And then you've obviously got the midfield ain't the worst. You've got Bruno Fernandes, Mainu, and whoever if Casemiro rolls out this season. Their defence is shaky again, like Newcastle's. Their goalkeeper's shit. But Man United could be well up there. Like, I know we take the piss. They finished 15th last season. It could click for them this season, and they could push up. I'm not saying they'll get Champions League, but it's another team fighting Newcastle for that spot. So Newcastle sat on their hands all summer, praying Isak don't kick up a fuss, and he has. And now they're fucked because they ain't got the people behind the scenes to sort it out. So more for them, and just give us Isak and be done with it. It's boring now.
Yeah, to be honest, it is. We've done a few shows, and I know a lot of our friends who've got podcasts, Ross, have done loads of shows as well. One of our friends in particular, Jay, he did something yesterday that Jackson could be close to Newcastle. And I've just been doing a little digging now, and I've noticed with, obviously, Jackson, I mentioned it before, has been left out of the squad. And then Romano's just said the relationship now with Chelsea is done. He must have told them he's going, and they've obviously granted him permission. I'd be shocked if that's not Newcastle as well, though, Ross. Do you know what I mean? And also, I don't understand, and this is why I was having a fucking argument slightly with that Mark Douglas on Twitter yesterday, the journalist, I think it's MSI or fucking something like that. And he was talking about him as a good replacement for Callum Wilson. I think that's a major disrespect for Jackson, Ross. I think he's a much better strike than people think. Personally, I'm not just saying this, and people can fucking just have a go at me in the comments, but I think he's a better player than Darwin Núñez. I'm not just fucking saying that. Do you know what I mean? They're similar players, but at the end of the day, I think Nicholas Jackson, I've just nearly fucking called him. Nicholas Jackson.
He could be.
Jackson, fucking Nicholas fucking Jackson, fuck's sake. I think him around the likes of Gordon, Alanga, Wiesa will come in behind
Even
that
the
midfield.
Geordie fan base, Ben. The Geordie fan base will take him to another level as well.
100%, because he'll ride the wave of the fans like Isak did. No one was big and fucking Isak up as big as he was. But I think he'd be a good signing for Newcastle. I really would. I think Daddy, even though he's for sale, they've got to start taking these easier deals and not fucking pipe dreams.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. And we've spoken a lot off air about like replacing Isak for Newcastle. It's quite evident that they are not going to be able to replace Isak with just one player. Similar to when Salah goes for us, and I think you can see that with some of the moves we're making. We're not going to be able to replace Salah with just one player. It's just not possible. You're talking like elite players. So if you're bringing in the likes of Jackson, you're bringing in the likes of Wissa, who can get you, a good amount of goals that can replace those types of players. I was watching some videos on Nicholas Jackson, and I got to be honest, like I haven't.
Good singer.
Not the singer, not Janet, no. But what I seen of Nicholas Jackson, again, similar to like Samu, he's got a few tricks in his bag. I've seen a few clips where he would drop deep and then, those like Gravenberg half turns that we see.
Yeah.
I've seen Jackson do that a few times, just trying to beat this man, get around the corner. And if you can have someone like that can also score goals but drop deep from midfield, and you take that into account with Newcastle's wingers who are very dangerous. You got Alanga there now. You got Harvey Barnes, who I rate Harvey Barnes. I think he's really good. You got Anthony Gordon. If you can have someone that can drop deep, allow those guys to bomb forward, it could be an absolute success. I don't think they should be turning their nose up at like Jackson and all these other strikers. They've had it good with Isak. Let's be real. They have. He is an elite player, but these other players that are being linked are not bad. It just hurts to lose your best player. That's it. No one's going to replace him. So if Jackson goes there, absolutely, I think it'd be a wicked signing for him.
No, I definitely agree. We're going to go into the Isak stuff. But look, if you're new and you're just tuning in, smash the like and subscribe. It massively helps the algorithm for the show. Cecil saying, had to go to court to sort of, she was, what? I can't even fucking read. That's too much for me.
Amanda Stavely, I think.
Oh, Amanda Stavely. Oh, okay. Luke saying I had Newcastle close to Pavlidis. I've seen something about that before. I don't know if that's true. Taylor's here saying Jackson and Wiesa will outscore Sesko massively. Yeah. But Mart, enough of Newcastle now. Let's talk about the one Liverpool are going to be getting. And in my opinion, will be a Liverpool player very, very soon. Alexander Isak, Mart, let's just go straight into it. What's the impact he's going to have on Liverpool?
Fucking hell. I mean, this is Van Dijk, like Alisson level. And I know people will say Salah, but Salah made that impact himself just because he's a baller, but he didn't come in with that expectation. But this is Van Dijk, Alisson level expectation on this guy. He's just, you feel like you kind of almost owe him it. And by that I mean, like, I don't condone players going on strike. I don't like it when it happens to my own club. I'm not going to revel in it. But when a player does show this much commitment to move, he's going to be unbelievable. I mean, you just kind of think about it. I've fallen down, even though you've seen him, fallen down the compilations of watching him and just seeing what he does and just the way he strikes a ball. And he's just going to be the best finisher we've had probably since Torres, I would say. He's just incredible. And I think what he's going to do for this Liverpool side is just what we've lacked. And, for the goals that we've scored, it's kind of been, relying on Salah a bit last season. I think a couple of the other strikers let off. I think what he's going to bring is just that Salah level consistency across the season while we still have Salah. And I think that's a frightening prospect. You're going to have potentially 2 30-plus goal scorers in your team. And then you're going to obviously see what Ekitike does as well. He's just a beast. I mean, he's the surest thing you can get in football right now. He's the surest thing you get to goals.
He's worth the money he is, Matt.
Yeah, and he is worth it. He's just going to be an absolute superstar. And I tell you what, you think about the fact that Ekitike is going to get to learn from him as well. I mean, there's so many knock-on effects that are positive for him being in this team, but just the way that he strikes a ball, he just hits it. I think the thing we look at with Darwin, we talk about, Darwin's flaws, but the way he was never a clean striker of football. He was always spooning it and just getting underneath it. You look at him hit it. Oh my God, when he hits a ball, it's hit. and he is going to have a field day with Liverpool. The amount of chances. I mean, just look at it. Florian Wirtz, Mohamed, probably Ekitike/Gakpo, and then you're going to have Alexander Isak to put it away at the end. Oh, yeah.
That's what dreams are made of, though, isn't it? That is elite level forward.
What we fucking deserve as well, mate. We've been watching David and Gog and fucking Voronen over the years.
It's worth mentioning as well. Like, I know we've signed fucking Florian Wirtz. Like,
who's currently playing already, do you know what I mean?
That's
number
unbelievable. Yeah, to add Isak to that, that's taking a piss.
Yeah. Someone's put it there. That Jude's just put it there. The comment there, and I can't lie. I've had thoughts of him against Arsenal for the end of the season. It's there.
This is what I mean, and you know what? I'm going to go to you on this one, Rick, because I also want to apologise to Cecily. I think I said something before, like I can't see it. It's haven't got my fucking glasses, sorry, so I couldn't really see all that fucking comments. Rick, Jamie Carragher, this dickhead's fucking shirt's coming off my wall very soon. I'm sick of the twat. I'm fucking sick of him. Chatting shit about Liverpool, big money signings, loser mentality, Rick. You are Alexander Isak's best fan. Do you know what I mean? When he's announced it, you'll be like Bollico painted in a fucking Swedish flag.
I need a week off, mate. I need a week off when that gets announced.
You go missing, lad. Do you know what I mean?
No, he frauded. He frauded in the group chat. He's seen his arse about Isak. He's lost
it. But the truth is, Rick, what's he talking about? You know what? He'd be the fucking first to moan if Liverpool weren't in for Isak.
But he does it. He moans all the time when Liverpool are not on the top table for players. He's done it over the years. He's just bitter how it ended for him at Liverpool. I'm telling you now, that's all it is. Never got that new deal that he wanted. Because he always keeps saying he would have signed a new deal. He would never play for someone else. That's why he retired. And then I don't know if it's because he's up his mate Neville's arse all the time. He's got Sky have got him round the nuts with what's happened before. So he's a yes man now. That's all it is. Like, I mean, a couple of years ago, he would have been jumping around in the cop end with us, fucking celebrating getting someone like Isak through the door, the best striker in the Prem.
Is he fucked now? Do you know what I mean?
No, and he's just a bit of blue shirt. And take that down off your wall, mate. If it weren't for Steven Gerrard, who would know? If it weren't for Gerrard, who would know Carragher? Take it off the wall, mate.
Yeah, I mean, he's fucking going in. Ross, I know you've got stuff to do, but I want to bring this question to you if I can see it. My eyes are getting fucking worse. From Luke, the boss of the show, what numbers are you getting, Ross?
Only one obvious number, isn't it? It's that magic number 9. Yeah, he has to wear it. You know, Isak 9 on the back of a Liverpool shirt. Fucking hell. Rick will literally be in hospital if he sees that, I think. So,
listen, the names we've had previously, yeah.
So, yeah, no, like number 9, like I'm dead excited. And Ben, I know I've told you about my Newcastle mate, and me and him go back and forth all the time. It's a tough time for them. But if we sign Alexander Isak, Marty is absolutely right. That is that Virgil van Dijk, that is that Alisson level of signing, and it's fucking scary. It's absolutely scary. So, yeah, Isak number 9, absolutely. We need to be singing those songs. I don't know, fucking Mambo number 9. I don't know what the fucking song's called, but yeah, we need to get him in. I'm so excited for him.
Yeah. Well, if you want, mate, because I know you've got stuff to do. If you want to just hop out, no worries.
Thank you for having me, lads.
Yeah, thanks for joining us again, as always. I'm sure you'll be on with us tomorrow or something, lads. But Marty's right, his knee's spot on. Alexander, for me, right, and I've spoke with Rick about the number situation, but he has to take that number 9 shirt, Mart, doesn't he? He has to be the big dog and take that shirt.
Same as Wirtz. You know, he's come in and just taking the 7. These players are built different. This isn't a kid. He's got to earn it. This is Alexander Isak. You know, the best number 9 on the planet that's available. He takes that 9 100%. What fucking other number does he take? He's going to be balling on the pitch.
He'll take 14 now, is he?
No. I mean, is there a chance he takes it? Maybe, but he's got to be the number 9, and he has to be. And it's
well, it's the stature of it as well, Mart, isn't it? And if him taking that shirt, he's got the ego for it, Mart. We've spoke about this. Just want to jump in on something before you carry on.
Yeah,
we spoke privately about when he wasn't kicking up a fuss, we thought, has he got the minerals to play for Liverpool if he's not asked to jump at the move? He's exceeded our expectation, Matt. You just know he's going to be a banger for Liverpool.
Oh, God, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I didn't think he would. When that report came out, where we'd inquired earlier on, and it kind of it didn't go anywhere. We got Ekatike. I thought, that'll be that then. He's not going to do anything. And it was just that random day, wasn't it? We were all kind of not really expecting much. And then Craig Hope just dropped that big exclusive about him putting a transfer request in and, asking to leave, should I say, and then just not going on the tour. And I mean, just to go back to the number 9 thing as well, football's a different game now. And, the commercial element of it is huge. Players' image rights, commercial deals, stuff like that. A big part of the reason they'll take that is the image of Alexander Isak, number 9. It's just a commercial dream to have that. I mean, he's got quite cool initials, isn't he? AI. So AI 9 does sound pretty good. But that's another reason. He's confident. He's going to want to put himself in the Liverpool folklore. And like I said, from a commercial perspective, having that number 9 is going to do wonders for him. And Liverpool are going places commercially. Like, look at this Adidas deal, man. Like, it's ridiculous. And they're going to be taking the players on that ride with them as well.
But this is it, Rick. So it's just M's just saying here, the reported sales from Adidas kits, belter, wear its number 1 shirt, innit? And you know what, Rick? Do you know if we had this chat before, if Isak was through the door just before the launch of this kit, I think he'd be the number 1 shirt that was sold with the name on the back, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, massively. Like we said before we come on, Isak is a bigger signing than Florian Wirtz at the minute. Over long term,
He's the best player.
Yeah. It'll be Wirtz over the longer period of time, but at the minute, Isak he's the best striker in world football at the minute. So it would be a no-brainer that his shirt would go for more, do more sales, 700% better than last season's shirt. Liverpool have confirmed. And yeah, listen, if Isak comes in around the time the 3rd kit gets launched, don't be surprised if Isak's going to be the number 1 on that shirt on the back.
He's an Adidas athlete, isn't he?
Yeah, he's Adidas. Yeah.
That was high.
Exactly. So, is it the 1st of September that kit's coming out, or
around
that time?
Yeah.
So I assume Isak be through the door before the 1st of September, but the first day that shirt's out, mate, the website crashed with this one. Imagine what it will do with Isak through the door and people trying to get the shirt done then.
I don't know which fucking site will crash more, the Newcastle one or Liverpool's, by the fucking Newcastle fans just typing shit to their own club. And this is what I was saying before. They've got to handle the PR well, Mart, haven't they? Just before we wrap up, I just want to mention it again. If they get it wrong, Newcastle left fan base on the fucking verge of going fucking mental, aren't they?
Oh, God, yeah. Just a quick one before I go on to that. I've just seen it come up on my Twitter there. Obviously, we've got Palace on Sunday. Apparently, their manager, that Ole Glasner, has hinted that he might leave the club because he's frustrated at the transfer situation. So, could get a bit of an unsettled Palace team on Sunday. They have the Newcastle fan base. Thing is, it's not even just the Isak stuff, is it? I mean, it's been a summer of failure for them. It started off well. They got the Alanga deal over the line, but then they had the situation. I mean, the Trafford one was pretty poor. I mean, they've been chasing James Trafford for ages, and then tried to get him on the cheap, and ended up obviously losing that buyback option to City. You then go obviously the João Pedro one. I mean, there's just so many of them that's fallen through. That they need to be. Isak is going to go. It's no about it. So they're going to have to do something to appease the fan base because, I mean, listen, you look at Newcastle. I mean, you talk about Liverpool. I know Newcastle were trying to banter about it. Liverpool's team going into next week in the first game of the season is fucking unbelievable. Isak's a cherry on top of a very sexy cake for Liverpool. Newcastle are going to go to the first game of the season next weekend without a senior striker. So
they're going to go to the first game looking like a cake that's just been fucking sat on.
Literally, fucking fruitcake that's been left out in the sun. Like it's not, it's not comparable. This is the thing, taking the Isak stuff away from the Liverpool transfer. He isn't going to play for them. He won't be starting the first game next week. They've got no additions outside of Alanga and an on-loan goalkeeper. I mean, fucking hell, they're banging trouble. And we know from a perspective of trying to win a league title, albeit it doesn't necessarily mean it definitively, you can put yourself in a really shit position in this league within the first 2 or 3 games. If you go and lose those and you drop points, you're in trouble. Newcastle can't afford, with how competitive the top 5 places are going to be this year, they can't be dropping points in the first 3 games. And they got us the second game, I don't know what their games are either side of that. I've not looked.
You've got Villa one of them, and that's a big one for them.
Yeah, so they can't be. They really fucking fucked Newcastle over, the ownership. They've really, really under-delivered. And it sounds like they're scrambling around and trying to, rescue this window. But it's been really poor. And I do feel sorry for them outside of the little knobheads that we've been going back and forth with on Twitter. Like we said, they're a great club, great people, great set of fans. They love their football. They live for the football club. And they've been really, really let down by that ownership. I mean, even just quickly before we move on, because I don't want to wrap up soon, but I'll be very confused. Visa has been linked to them all window, and then it comes out that one of the Saudi Pro League teams owned by PIF are moving on Visa. I mean, I know they've got their own individual, people that do that, but I mean, fucking hell, what? We're looking at that going, what the fuck is
this disconnect going on here, Matt? There's something fucking not right.
Yeah, I mean, it's also here. I know it's obvious, but Lee Ryder, the Newcastle journalist, just put out there that there's now confirmation that Isak's absent from the squad and he continues to train alone behind the scenes. Yeah.
Connor's just saying here, they've got Villa away first game. This is why they have to get the skates on. I believe Liverpool have said, get your fucking shit in order. And also Isak as well. They're dragging their feet. But you know what? We'll wrap it up here. Thought we'd have a good little chat about it. We've got some good shows coming up. Tomorrow we'll do the, around lunchtime, we'll do the Community Shield preview with Palace. Then come next week, we'll go over the game. We'll see where we're at with the Isak thing. I think we're going to get some news over the weekend. Might just be not the biggest of news, but because the Liverpool are playing, Newcastle have got games tonight and tomorrow. I think they're on about 40 minutes against Espanyol, Newcastle. I'm sure there'll be a few pissed off fans in that ground. St James's Park. I'm sure it's going to be interesting. Danny, Gary saying here, anyone concerned that if we do get Isak in, we won't have managed any pre-season with us. Do you know what, Gary? Good players don't need it, to be honest. He just needs to put the ball on the back of the net. He'll find his pace very quickly. Luke saying here, great show once again. If the like, guys, yeah. But look, we'll wrap up. There's 84 in the chat. If you've only just joined us, smash a like and subscribe. It does help the channel. We are new. We've got some good guests coming on. We've got Lewis Steele coming on as well during the week. Just waiting for the confirmation of him. We've got one of the Newcastle people, journos / big fans. I'm going to get him on, have a little chat and just wind him up, start singing gimme, 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 because he knows he's fucking lost out. But Reds, we'll catch us tomorrow. Up the fucking Reds and keep the faith. Isak is coming.